Thank you very much. Bobby Gray, founder of TEXITcoin, which is an original layer one crypto in Texas, for Texas, by Texans, but today for the world. Before I start, I want to thank my friends over at Luna for allowing me to sponsor this event and get up on stage and share a couple words with you here today. I met Luna back in 2018 in Singapore when we were just getting started in this crazy space. They made some really killer cowboy hats, so be sure to grab a couple before you go. You won't find me very often wearing official TEXITcoin gear, and that's because I'm actually here because of honest money. That's what I care about. And so my hope is that as I encourage people to understand how important honest money is, and they go down the path of learning what money is and what good money is supposed to be, they will eventually find out that cryptocurrency is great money, which I'll hopefully convince you of here today if you're not already sold. But as they learn more about cryptocurrency, sooner or later they'll discover that TEXITcoin is good crypto. And so we'll talk about that as we get going. Okay. We live in a world today of fake news. I used to say back when we started this in 2024, now it's fake news and AI. And so I want to share a couple of important facts about me, just so you know who I am. If you need to grab my face or shake my hand or look me in the eye after this and decide whether or not I'm being upfront and honest with you, then you'll be able to do that. I forgot to mention, 2 nights ago, if you Google TEXITcoin, you will find that the Texas State Security Board has issued a cease and desist for TEXITcoin. And so I have to be careful because everything that I say can and will be used against me in a court of law. But I'm really excited to enter the club of people in the US that have been messed with by, the security boards. This is my family. My wife and my daughter are here. They've been very active in the launch and the promotion internationally of this project, Token 2049 Singapore. I also have a son, but he's on a different path. In 2008, I started the American Open Currency Standard. I don't know how many people you know here on planet Earth that started their own currencies back in 2008, but Bobby Gray did with the AOCS, and Satoshi Nakamoto also did when they went digital with Bitcoin. And so I kicked that off in 2008 because we saw the same problem. There's something fundamentally wrong with money. I went the golden silver horse and buggy route by trying to create coins that people could use to barter, kind of like in the olden days. And so Bitcoin went digital, I went physical, and I can definitely admit today that Bitcoin won that conversation. But I started that in 2008. I did so well that I was invited in 2012 to testify as an expert witness in the United States Congress about alternative and complementary currencies. I testified in front of the U.S. House Domestic Financial Services Committee on monetary freedom and parallel currencies, the roadmap to monetary freedom. That was also the same year that I created the original Bitcoin coin, which you'll see up here in just a moment. Maybe the most famous coin in the world today, go me. 2017, I took that world famous coin and I turned it into a functional cold storage wallet. Back then everyone was getting excited about crypto, passwords were getting forgotten, wallets were getting hacked, exchanges were going bankrupt. And so my first contribution to the cryptocurrency industry was an easy way for somebody to take a digital asset and now hold it in the palm of their hand. And I thought that that was a powerful tool because it's the first bridge between these very different ends of the value spectrum. Digital currency out there in the cloud somewhere, physical gold, silver, copper coins in your safe where they're secured, where you hold and own your keys. So I started that in 2017. I'm sure you've seen that coin all over the world. Then in 2024, I got out of coin manufacturing. I decided that the future was going to be digital. I saw the writing on the wall. Young people aren't buying gold and silver coins, and I'm going to be the guy that throws his hat in the ring, so to speak, and start my own cryptocurrency, as happens elsewhere thousands of times every single day. Why me? Because I deeply care about honest money. And you can see that there's a long and proven track record of my contribution to the world of alternative and complementary currencies. So it starts with the question of what is money? Money has evolved a whole lot over the last couple thousand years. We started in the old days with good old-fashioned barter, your chicken for my horseshoe kind of thing. And then as civilizations expanded, we became more complex. We switched over to coinage. Bronze coins, copper coins, silver ended up becoming the money of the marketplace. Everyone thinks about gold as money, but that was really the money of kings and princes. Silver was the money of the marketplace. Copper was the money of kind of the poor, and of course, debt was the money of slaves. But we moved out of that copper coinage thing a couple hundred years ago as we got into warehouse receipts and paper money. And I don't know if you recognize this, but this is actually a silver certificate. What my country, the United States, once had until 1964, we actually had paper money that was backed up by gold and silver on deposit at the, wherever it was. And of course, we discontinued that promotion some number of years ago, and ever since then, we've had to enjoy stuff like this. If you're familiar with hyperinflation, this is a $100 trillion note from Zimbabwe. Every paper currency in the history of mankind eventually fails. Well, people say, well, when will the US dollar fail? It hasn't failed yet. The US dollar has lost 99% of its purchasing power in the last 113 years since the Federal Reserve came out in 1913. I'd say that that's a pretty significant failure over time. We just don't see it because it drops very slowly. And of course, today, most money is not even paper anymore. It's all digital. And so it starts with the fundamental question, how am I doing on time? Am I all right? Of what is money? And I got into this business because I read an article by a really great guy named Jason Hummel back in 2007 that would have me believe that anything that's going to serve as good money in the marketplace has to be a good medium of exchange, it has to be a good unit of account, and it has to be a good store of value. And so I started my own currency in silver because I thought that silver really did a great job of those three things. To be a medium of exchange, you have to be able to pass it easily. To be a unit of account, you have to be able to count it or weigh it easily. To be a store of value, it has to be able to hold its value over time. And so it begs the question, is gold money? You think about gold in terms of those three properties. You can easily hand a piece of gold to someone. You can weigh or count a piece of gold and see exactly how much it weighs and what it's worth. And of course, it's held its value for thousands of years. We have a saying in my world that says, an ounce of gold back in ancient Rome bought a nice toga, a belt, and a pair of sandals. And that same ounce of gold today, thousands of years later, also buys you a suit, a pair of shoes, and a nice belt. It's not really true, though, is it? Because today, gold's what? $5,000 an ounce? You can buy a couple nice suits today. You can buy a couple pairs of shoes with that very same ounce of gold. And so, of course, we think of gold as being extremely valuable, but is gold money? Can you walk down to the store today and buy a tank of gas with an ounce of gold? Of course not. You'd have to monetize it first. You'd have to sell it and get money, currency, in order to do that. Well, let's fast forward. Is Bitcoin money? Now, I got out of the gold and silver world because I couldn't take my gold coin down and buy that tank of gas with it. I realized that as I was on my gold and silver horse and buggy, the Bitcoin freight train went flying by with now the ability to use Bitcoin to shop at 54 million places around the globe. Wow. You've seen them before, the Visa, MasterCard backed by Bitcoin. You can tap to pay at millions of businesses all over planet Earth. But is that really true now today? Or has Bitcoin changed and become digital gold? If you went out of here today to buy yourself lunch and the restaurant offered you the option to pay in cash with your Visa, MasterCard, rewards, credit card that gives you the travel points, or pay in Bitcoin, are you going to spend your Bitcoin today? Is it money today? I would say for the most part it's not. Why? Because of something called Gresham's Law. Gresham's Law says that bad money, paper money, pushes good money out of the marketplace. What does that mean? It means that if you're offered an opportunity to go shopping and you can use gold or Bitcoin or paper fiat currency, you're most likely to use the paper fiat currency. We all understand that and we all accept it. But we'd like to think that here we are in 2026 and Bitcoin is money. So that leads us to the final point of whether or not TEXITcoin is money. Is TEXITcoin money? TEXITcoin is a layer 1 digital currency. It's a clone of Litecoin, technologically very similar. The only thing really different about TEXITcoin is that it's exclusively mined in Texas. But TEXITcoin's got something important that the Bitcoin community used to have. And that's the key word right there. It has a community. It has a group of people that are advocating for its success in the marketplace as an alternative, digital, decentralized, peer-to-peer currency. Bitcoin's original mission, the thing that started this whole entire amazing industry, started because someone here on planet Earth thought that there was a problem with money and tried to do something about it. And so today, TEXITcoin is, kind of ruffling some feathers where we're from, but we're going to keep working hard on our mission of sharing the message of peace and prosperity with people in Dallas, people in Texas, people in America, and with our friends all over the world, because it's our moral responsibility to make sure that the money that we use in the marketplace to trade with each other is good, and it's honest, and it's real. And it's very hard today to tell the difference between those things. And I want to encourage you to do more research about what money is, and if you come to the same conclusion that I've reached, where TEXITcoin is the future of good, honest digital money, then come and join us on the rocket ship and have an adventure. Thanks so much for allowing me to be here today, my Luna friends, and enjoy the rest of the conference.